Hey, it's Jim Delaney, and we're here for the PRSA conference. And today we're delighted to have our guest, Shonali Burke. Shonali is the president and CEO of Shonali Burke Consulting, and she is all things social. So it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
It's great to see you, Jim. Thank you.
You're here at PRSA. Tell us a little bit about yourself and then what you're hoping to get out of today's conference.
My focus is really on measurable communication strategies that help businesses achieve their end objectives. And that's what I try to do in my business as well. And I'm delighted to be here at PRSA speaking about the same thing.
You've specialized and done a lot of work around influencer marketing. Tell us a little bit about that and maybe your perspective as to why it matters so much today.
The thing about influencer marketing is that it's been around a long time, right? It's just been called different names.
Sure.
And what is interesting about today's marketplace is the influencers have changed. And now you have this whole swath of influencers that could range from not just the media, who traditionally were the influencers that PR professionals considered they needed to reach, but now you have the media, you have community members. The beautiful thing about social media is that now it's opened up this format of two-way and multi-way conversation that
Absolutely.
PR professionals and communication professionals should take advantage of, but what they really need to understand is that that means participating in the conversation as opposed to talking at people. And that, I think, is what still folks need a little bit of practice at.
And there's some great hot topics even within that, right? The importance of authenticity, being transparent, being real. Obviously a big difference between the media and your mom, and this issue of trust. What are your thoughts about openness, trust, particularly as it relates to, being influenced?
People like to do business with people they like and trust. And the more open and honest you are, the higher the likelihood that they are going to trust you. There are companies going head to head all the time. Why would a consumer go to one instead of another? And it doesn't matter whether you're in the B2B space or the B2C space, because it's really the B2E space. It's business to everyone these days. So you have to have that authenticity and you have to have that trust, because otherwise you can't start to have that conversation that will end, hopefully, in a mutually beneficial business relationship.
There's a lot that's been made of recently about companies getting in the content marketing business, building a lot of their own content, trying to identify the influencers, and then share that content with the influencers, hoping that the influencers will ultimately impact the end customer. What are some of your thoughts around the convergence of content marketing, influencer marketing, and ultimately creating brand advocates on behalf of companies?
What goes wrong is when they use old PR practices, which are blind pitching, BCC emails. I can't tell you how many of these I get a day. I have a little food blog in addition to my marketing blog, so I get these food pitches all the time. But for some reason, I get a lot of pitches for rum, which I don't drink, and I've never talked about drinking online. And I'm like, you people don't even know why you are talking to me. You found me on some list, and therefore you think that I'm one of your influencers, and so you're sending me this recipe
Sure.
and saying, hey, go ahead and post it, and by the way, would you just link back? That's just the wrong way to do it. You have to actually go back to the basics of doing your research and trying to understand what's the whiffer moment, right? What's in it for me? Why should the influencer do
Sure.
that for you? How is it going to help them in some way?
One last question for you. I mean, obviously, you've been coming to this conference a number of years, and there's a lot of young PR professionals running around. What advice would you, as a seasoned professional, offer a lot of these young folks?
I think what they have to learn how to do and do as they grow in their careers is learn from people like you. They're already doing a really great job because they're here. And meet and network in the right way, which is not, hey, can I give you my resume?
Sure.
That's not networking.
Yeah.
You have to find out who's going to actually help you learn what you need to learn.
Absolutely.
And the second thing that I think we're trying to drill into their heads is that they have to have measurement at the center of everything that they do. Because you
fantastic.
can't have a good strategy if it's not measurable. You don't know how your campaign's working if you're not measuring it. If you can add 2 and 2, you can measure.
Sure.
So
That's right.
that's what they
That's
need
right.
to remember.
Well, listen, it's been a real pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
It's great having you.
You too. Thank you.